It looks like Liam Lawson is about to become one of the most talked-about names in the paddock over the coming weeks. The Kiwi driver is facing serious scrutiny as doubts about his long-term viability in Formula One continue to grow following a string of underwhelming performances post-demotion. With Isack Hadjar managing to bring home points on more than one occasion, the contrast couldn't be more glaring. It's casting a shadow over Lawson's once promising image as the next Red Bull prodigy. His brief stint with the main Red Bull squad, just 2 Grand Prix starts and a sprint, was already underwhelming. Since then, even his return with Racing Bulls hasn't done much to repair his standing. While he's had moments that hinted at potential, Hadjar's 2 P10 finishes have effectively kept the team in the midfield fight and raised uncomfortable questions about whether Lawson is truly the right man for the job. And then there's the elephant in the room, a young, hungry talent by the name of Arvid Lindblad. The rising F2 star is reportedly sitting at the top of Red Bull's list of future F1 prospects. And with only 2 seats available in the junior team, it's becoming increasingly clear that someone's going to be left out. Right now, Lawson is looking like the odd one out, especially after Helmut Marko's recent comments, which many interpret as subtle hints toward Lindblad being groomed for an imminent promotion. Formula One pundits aren't mincing words either. Former F1 driver Juan Pablo Montoya is among those who believe Lawson won't make it to the end of the 2025 season unless something drastically changes. Referring specifically to Lawson's costly incident with Fernando Alonso during the Miami sprint, Montoya didn't hold back. "I'll be blunt," he said. "If Liam doesn't step it up soon, I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Lindblad take over. Not one bit." Lawson had his shot last year, a golden opportunity. He was granted the Red Bull seat, something few drivers even dream of, and for a moment it felt like he might belong. But the truth is, even then, there was tension. A sizable chunk of the F1 community thought Yuki Tsunoda deserved that promotion more. And despite Lawson's adaptability and broader racing background giving him a slight edge over Yuki at the time, he ultimately failed to meet the mark. His short-lived Red Bull tenure, marked by just 2 races alongside Max Verstappen, proved to be more bruising than beneficial. The hope was that he'd stage a redemption arc with Racing Bulls, much like Pierre Gasly did after his own demotion in 2019, but so far, that narrative hasn't materialized. Montoya suggested Red Bull might take a page out of Alpine's book, referencing their swift lineup changes with Jack Doohan and Victor Martins. "If your driver isn't delivering," he argued, "the best move is to replace him with someone who either has a track record of scoring points or represents a raw, unpolished gem worth polishing." He also added that Lawson took a real blow psychologically, and the emotional fallout from that Red Bull experience might require more than just good lap times to fix. In Montoya's view, if Liam doesn't mentally regroup and put down some solid performances quickly, Red Bull won't hesitate to look elsewhere. "That's just how they operate," he said. "It's Red Bull. No sentiment, only results." What's unfolding with Red Bull right now feels eerily similar to Alpine's current situation. Whenever Franco Colapinto underperforms, questions begin to swirl, and the same fate could easily befall anyone in Red Bull's development pipeline. That's where Arvid Lindblad steps into the spotlight. Currently tearing up the Formula 2 field, Lindblad isn't just fast, he's historic. The youngest driver to ever win an F2 race in any format, he has already been on Christian Horner and Helmut Marko's radar long before his promotion to the category. We're not just talking about raw pace here, we're talking about a driver who embodies composure, precision, and maturity beyond his years. According to Marko, the team isn't chasing the next Max Verstappen, they're chasing the next champion. And in his eyes, Lindblad fits that mold perfectly. With Verstappen's future all but locked in at Red Bull, there's little need to rush promotions within the Racing Bulls setup. Instead, the focus seems to be shifting toward cultivating long-term potential from within, and Lindblad is at the heart of that vision. Marko didn't mince words. Speaking about Lindblad's potential, he remarked, "We're not out to find another Max. We're out to develop a champion." And I believe Arvid Lindblad is the standout in that regard. He went on to compare him favorably to the likes of Jack Doohan, Oscar Piastri, and even Logan Sargent, drivers who, unlike Lindblad, had the advantage of multiple seasons of testing in F1 machinery before making the leap. In contrast, Lawson never received such a luxury. Even Hadjar, another Red Bull junior, has only had limited exposure. That's something the team intends to change with Lindblad. If he delivers a strong season in F2, he could arrive in Formula One by 2026 with far more preparation under his belt than many of his predecessors. So what does all of this mean for Liam Lawson? The outlook is far from rosy. Here's a driver nurtured by Red Bull, given chances to shine at the highest level, and now on the brink of being eclipsed. He brings a solid racing resume, including significant time in DTM, much like Alex Albon. But whether that experience is enough to safeguard his future in F1 is highly debatable. It's not that Lawson is lacking entirely, but his position is undeniably under siege. The rise of Lindblad, combined with the growing credibility of Isack Hadjar, is creating a squeeze. Marko, never one to shy away from blunt truths, made headlines when he publicly criticized Hadjar's rookie mistake during a formation lap spin earlier this year. Yet just a couple of races later, Hadjar responded by scoring points, a bounce-back that deeply impressed the Red Bull advisor. Moments like these reveal a driver's mindset. It's not just about talent, it's about resilience, about how you respond when the pressure's on and your back is against the wall. That's what's catching the eye at Red Bull. And unfortunately for Lawson, that kind of comeback story hasn't been part of his narrative so far. Unless something changes, and fast, 2025 might not just be a rough patch for Liam Lawson. It could very well be the closing chapter of his Formula One story. When speaking about the breakout star of the season, Helmut Marko didn't hesitate to point to Isack Hadjar. "Let's talk racing," he began. Liam Lawson, whose return to the scene, has been performing solidly. In Jeddah, Lawson was marginally quicker than Hadjar in some stints, and during the race, the two were quite evenly matched. The Kiwi has found his footing. However, in Marko's view, it's Hadjar, the young driver from Paris, who stands out as the revelation of the early part of the championship. Despite his limited knowledge of most circuits on the calendar, Hadjar has consistently shown speed from the get-go and has made remarkably few mistakes. Aside from a slip-up in Australia, he's managed to do what many rookie F1 drivers struggle with: maintain competitive pace while managing tire wear with surprising maturity. Marko relayed all of this without much fanfare, but the praise was clear. What makes things even more intriguing is that Hadjar has now been linked to a potential seat at Red Bull Racing. If Yuki Tsunoda's trajectory doesn't go as expected, Hadjar has already signaled that he won't hesitate if the call from the senior team ever comes. When asked how he'd respond if approached by Helmut Marko or Christian Horner, Hadjar was straightforward: "Of course I'd answer the call. It's Red Bull, the top team. Sure, it's a huge challenge, and I'm not planning for it now. I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I've got. But if they call, I'll say I'm ready. Even if I'm not, I'll still say I am." That's the kind of bold, fearless mindset Red Bull thrives on, and it highlights just how precarious Liam Lawson's position truly is. If he fails to start scoring consistently and proving his worth, his chances of staying on the F1 grid may vanish altogether. The brutal reality is that Red Bull's junior program is ruthless, and everyone involved knows how to exploit that. Lawson's road back to a Red Bull seat seems longer than ever, particularly with Lindblad's meteoric rise overshadowing him. His situation is complicated by factors out of his control, but that doesn't make the consequences any less real. The writing might already be on the wall. Still, it's worth acknowledging that Hadjar's position isn't guaranteed either. None of the Racing Bulls drivers can afford to relax. The key difference is that Hadjar is younger and has shown more promise in F1 machinery compared to Lawson, which means, for now, the pressure is far more intense on the New Zealander. Each passing race weekend serves as another test, and unfortunately for Liam, momentum is not on his side. Unless he turns things around soon, he could find himself out of the sport completely. Meanwhile, Red Bull's commitment to giving its young talents more mileage is evident. Hadjar has already logged TPC, testing of previous cars, sessions with the main team. But as always in Formula One, expectations and outcomes don't always align. It's a delicate situation, and one misstep can change everything. So here's the question. Is Lawson already on borrowed time in F1? And more importantly, do you think Arvid Lindblad is poised to swoop in and claim that seat, maybe as soon as 2025? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And when you're done, don't forget to click on the video currently playing on your screen for more updates on the Red Bull driver carousel.